Ba-da-doom. Yes, Zack Ryder returns on SmackDown. War Games teams take in shape, and John Cena wins the Intercontinental Championship for the first time. Wrestling Uncensored is here. We're live. Let's do it. Ooh. We are here. We are ready. Johnny is here. Johnny is back from another victorious weekend out in Sudbury, Ontario. Congratulations on another big win in the wrestling ring last weekend, Big Johnny.
Thanks, Dave. I don't know how else to say this, but I think Sudbury is becoming like my second home now. Just the love and respect that I get from the Sudbury crowd is just it's on another level compared to anything else right now. Just it was quite an incredible experience. Just to hang around those fans afterwards. I didn't really get to do that the past show. I was kind of in the main event, so it was a little busy, but I got to see a lot of the fans. Pretty much got mobbed by the fans during intermission, and just hearing their stories, telling me like what they remember about my career so far. Like they know pretty much from start to pretty much now what I've done in Sudbury, and they've been actually looking up my career. I'm just like blown away by this. Like I feel like, you know, I've had fans, and now I have like hardcore fans. It's quite amazing. I just have to hats off to Sudbury and those amazing fans there.
Well, you deserve it. I'm happy to hear. That's great.
Well, and hats off to Project X Wrestling, another tremendous show, which we had Matt Cardona on the show. Yeah, he was a nice guy to meet, but he lost in the end in that match. And as we saw, he lost on SmackDown tonight as well, but wasn't called Matt Cardona.
So you wrestled with Matt Cardona in Sudbury last weekend?
I didn't wrestle against Matt Cardona. No. I believe Marty Scurll wrestled him actually in the title match.
And this was on the show you were on?
Yeah, that happened last week. That's kind of neat about Cardona. Like, he's done this in the past where he's just on a random show, and then bam, he's on AEW. Bam, he's on NXT, and now WWE. He's got a good gig. I may hope that, you know, he's got his wife there, so maybe he's got connections. But hey, great setup that he's got going on. Like he's doing good business.
Well, I think it's pretty cool that last weekend you were on a show with Matt Cardona, and this Friday night he's on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. You know, he was nice to meet, you know, but we really didn't talk too much. But he was a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Marty Scurll on the show. It's interesting. He's a controversial figure in wrestling.
Yeah, he can be. But actually, Marty I actually get along really well with. So it's actually very much a pleasure every time I see him, actually.
Well, I don't really know all the details around what went down with him. I remember it being kind of bad, but who knows what happened. Never went to jail for anything. So, right?
He didn't, but he kind of got canceled a little bit.
Yeah, he got canceled other people got canceled.
Like, you know, we've seen Bubbles, Trailer Park Boys. He got canceled recently.
Yeah, he's canceled for now. We'll see what the courts say. Well, that's cool, John, and you are awesome, and you're a great wrestler, and you deserve all the best things in pro wrestling. Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, also pretty cool. He wrestled on SmackDown tonight. That was maybe the biggest story of SmackDown.
I feel like they did a lot of little things, but nothing really big happened. I mean, Cody Rhodes defended the undisputed WWE Championship. I mean, it happened. It wasn't really anything great, but it happened. Kind of stupid, though, because they announced that match happened with Bronson Reed, and they said, oh, well, Bronson Reed will be in the John Cena tournament. Well, I wonder who's going to win now. They're going to have the WWE champion in the John Cena tournament? Like, if anything, hold that off till Raw. Like, that was just bad booking right there.
Yeah. And Bronson Reed wrestles Cody Rhodes in the main event. It ends in a disqualification when Braun Breaker and Logan Paul attack Cody. Kind of a nothing match there. Then the Usos made the save to help Cody They're setting up War Games. They're setting up Survivor Series, which is coming up in like 3 weeks. But then Drew McIntyre shows up, and he makes it 4-on-3. And they beat up on the Usos, and Bronson Reed hits the tsunami on Cody. And then Drew signs some sort of contract with Paul Heyman to be on the War Games team. The fans were chanting for CM Punk, kind of hoping that Punk would even the odds, but he did not.
Yeah, I guess he didn't get the memo that everyone from Raw and SmackDown can be on any show now. So I guess, he didn't feel like showing up. I heard OTC chants as well as the show went to black, but no Roman. I didn't expect that, but it'd be nice if Roman's going to be in that War Games because I feel like it needs some star power. Roman's the perfect guy for that, I think. Plus, I'm thinking it's going to be 5-on-5 usually, no?
I think so.
Time will tell, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like Heyman's squad will have one more person added to it.
Yeah. I think it's 5-on-5. I don't think it's 4-on-4. I'm pretty sure they're doing 5-on-5. So they've got Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and one more person. Is that one more person Brock Lesnar?
I mean, it makes the most sense, right? Because it's all Heyman's people, whatever, people that Heyman likes kind of thing. So Brock makes the most, and like that's the last one, so it'll be the biggest kind of shock thing. Plus, you only have to have Brock show up once. Madison Square Garden makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I imagine that's how Raw is probably going to end. We might be kind of not really spoiling Raw, but this is giving our predictions for Raw. I think that's how Raw ends. F5 on Cena. So yeah, Madison Square Garden on Raw.
Do you think Cena then joins the War Games team?
I don't know if he does or not, but he's supposed to have his last ever match in Madison Square Garden, right?
Yeah. You think it... Like, I don't know if Brock gets involved with Cena if he's doing War Game stuff. That seems like it'll muddy the waters of Brock Lesnar. I feel like if Brock's going to make an appearance, it should be doing something to, like, say Punk joins... Well, Punk is actually on the team officially, right?
I think he's the captain, kind of, from what it looked like on Raw, right?
So why wasn't he there tonight?
Again, he didn't get the memo. Like, you can go to any show, so...
I mean, Jey Uso got the memo.
Yeah, like they all got the memos about it. Everyone did, but Punk.
Yeah, it's weird. So,
made him look kind of bad, actually.
I don't know if Brock Lesnar shows up in Madison Square Garden. Maybe Roman Reigns shows up in Madison Square Garden. Because I feel like Roman would be the final member of the babyface team with Cody, Punk, and the Usos.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I agree with that. But I feel like, oh, that's a good point, though. Because Drew, that was the big thing in SmackDown, right? So now you got to give the babyfaces something back and forth. Yeah. Sure. And it works both ways because they're both big stars. It doesn't really matter. I don't think if it's Roman first, then Brock, or Brock and it works either way. So yeah, you're probably right. Maybe go with Roman instead. But I mean, I would think if you have Brock, Madison Square Garden, that's when you use him. But maybe not.
You got Roman too. I mean, Roman is a massive star.
And you can't go wrong.
Brock. I mean, they're only going to have one more episode of Raw after, like, leading into Survivor Series here. It's Oklahoma City on the 24th because Survivor Series is the 29th. We're like 2 weeks away from this thing.
Oh, we got next 2 Saturdays afterwards. We got Full Gear, and then we have Survivor Series. Like, it's all pay-per-views for the next couple Saturdays here.
Yeah. Survivor Series set for 3:30 Pacific, so that's 6:30 Eastern. It's really going to start at 6:30.
I mean, you saw the Blood and Guts this past week. Those War Game matches or anything kind of resembles that. it's over an hour at least, or roughly. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea. It starts a little bit earlier because those matches are very long. Plus, like, what else do we have? Like, I'm pretty sure there's going to be other matches besides the War Game matches. You need that buffer because, like, the women traditionally always start it, right? It's probably going to happen. And then you kind of need a match or two in between. Then the men's War Games match.
Yeah. Well, Cena's going to wrestle, I think, a match.
You think probably wrestle Dom again?
Well, Cena is scheduled for Survivor Series, so he's wrestling somebody. Maybe Dom, maybe somebody else. Maybe, like, Dom has lost the Intercontinental Championship. That happened on Raw, which kind of threw everybody for a loop because you didn't really expect Cena to win the Intercontinental title or even wrestle on Raw this past Monday in Boston. I kind of figured, and most people kind of figured, that Cena would wrestle Dom at Survivor Series and maybe take the title from him there. But he took the title from him on Monday. So maybe they do the return match at Survivor Series, but maybe not. Maybe Cena just does something else. I'm not sure what that is. Not a ton of great options either. But like Cena Dom 2, do we need that? It was not great on Monday. Like, the crowd was into it, but a lot of that stuff didn't come close to connecting. Like, the strikes were real off. It was just
the backdrop. The attempted backdrop thing looked really bad.
It was not a good match. And I think it exposed Dom a little bit as being a guy who just is not ready for the big stage. He's getting over, but he's not a main eventer.
I don't know if you'd agree with this, but I felt like it was very much on par with the Jey Uso Miz match that we saw tonight.
Oof.
It felt very much like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they were great matches. I'm just saying, like, it felt like that level
of
wrestling was pretty much there. Yeah.
Yeah, Jey Uso and The Miz was the first match on SmackDown. And then we had Ilya Dragunov against Axiom. I was like, is this show ever going to pick up?
Well, we did have the Charlotte thing. That was kind of a big thing. Charlotte will not be a part of the War Games match.
That was cool. They started the show cool, and then SmackDown just kind of fell off a cliff.
And it's only going to get longer from now on, too.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure makes you even happier.
Well, whatever. More bang for my buck. I have tickets for a show in January, so it'll be 3 hours. More.
Ooh.
I'm fine.
I think you're...
2 nights in a row, too, John.
I worry about your son. Like, how is he going to be able to stay up for that?
It'll be
going to be rough.
It's the weekend. It's the weekend, so we're good. It's not like a Monday Night Raw. Which, by the way, Toronto's going to get the Raw... like following, like Montreal Friday for SmackDown, Saturday for Saturday night's main event, and then Toronto gets the Raw on the Monday.
That's pretty good. Well, there's that huge deal that they have now, right, with Toronto? I mean, WWE pretty much owns Toronto now.
Yeah. Big deal with Maple Leaf Sports. They're supposed to incorporate Toronto sports people on WWE shows when they're there. I guess Maple Leaf sports people, which are who? The Maple Leafs and the Raptors?
I want to say Toronto FC as well.
Okay.
I'm taking a guess on that one.
But like not the Jays.
No, I don't think it's the Jays, yeah.
No, because the Rogers owns the Jays. Which sucks because the only Toronto sports people that I'd like to see on a Monday Night Raw would be like Vlad Guerrero Jr. or there's George Springer watching Monday Night Raw. Like, I would enjoy that. I like that. I like baseball players. But like some Toronto Raptors guy or some Maple Leaf, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Doesn't do anything for me. So whatever. They signed a deal with the Maple Leaf Sports. They're going to bring a lot of WWE shows to Toronto, which, like, did they need to sign a deal to do that? Because they're going to do that anyways, aren't they? I was kind of confused about that deal and what it is.
I mean,
Rogers owns Maple Leafs MLSE too. They do. Rogers owns everything in Toronto.
Wow, Rogers owns everything? That's amazing.
Is that true?
Well, there you go.
That's crazy.
You might get Vlad. That's amazing.
Oh, Vlad. Give me some Vlad.
Oh, you really want to see Vlad? That's good, I guess.
Vlad on Raw would be fun, no? Wouldn't that be cool?
As long as they treat him better than one of your favorites, their West Side Gun. Like, yeah.
Yeah, how could they do that to West Side Gun? I mean, we could talk about that. That was nuts. Let's put a pin in that. We'll talk about West Side Gun. Okay? Because I'm actually mad about that.
I'd be mad if I was him. Like $5,000 for that? Like, whew, I'd be pissed.
I actually listen to West Side Gun. I like West Side Gun. I'm very disappointed. Anyways, SmackDown was real rough with Jey Uso beating The Miz. He did that to advance in the John Cena tournament. There's a bunch of matches in this tournament. I don't know what the brackets are. He advances in this tournament, but nobody tells us who he faces in the next round. It's very confusing.
I don't think they know who's like going to face who right now. I think they have ideas. I think Gunther's going to win. I think we pretty much have that solidified. I think pretty much good on that one.
Yeah. So why
how
even
we
have
get
this stupid tournament?
Well, we got to do something in the meantime, right? So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, Gunther's going to wrestle Jevion on Raw.
Evans, yeah.
Yeah.
Javon Evans, yeah.
Not sure who
that's happening.
Jevion.
He's from NXT. He's like 21. He's kind of like he's like a rookie sensation kind of thing. He does a lot of cutters, so he shouldn't be on the same show as Randy Orton or Cody. But I think he's very talented. So wait and see. I think Gunther's going to beat him.
Yeah. Gunther's going to win the whole tournament.
Yeah. And Solo's probably going to wrestle Joe Henry, one of your favorites.
I don't hate him. You say that like I hate him.
I heard you guys say last week, like you guys weren't exactly speaking very fondly of Joe Henry last week, so.
Well, I don't think, like I'm not one of these people that's like, woo, he's the best thing ever. I'm like, whatever. I'm not impressed, I need to see a little bit more.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
I'm impressed that he was able to get to this spot. It's not easy, like where he is in TNA. Like people can say what they want about TNA, but it's really hard to get noticed. I feel, but he got noticed, and he made a lot of buzz.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, maybe he'll be something, but just so far, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going crazy for him. Zack Ryder loses to LA Knight. LA Knight advancing in the John Cena tournament. So he's moving on in that thing. And they open the show with something cool, like you mentioned. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come in, and they start talking about War Games. And there was a whole thing on Raw this week where Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss lost to the Kabuki Warriors. And then Nia Jax and Lash Legend were attacking them, and Rhea Ripley returned with Io Sky, and they made the save, and that set up what you thought was War Games. However, tonight on the show, Rhea and Io are in the ring talking about War Games. Rhea introduces their partners, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. They come out. Alexa does a little promo about the Kabuki Warriors, and you're like, all right. And then Charlotte gets on the mic, and she's like, Rhea, I don't trust you. I think you're a snake. I don't want to be on your team. Bliss, if you want to do this War Games thing, fine, but I'm not doing it. And then she just left. And you're like, oh, Bliss is going to go after her. She's going to bring her back. It's going to lead to something. No, Charlotte just left. And then we went back to commentary, and the women in the ring just left the ring, and that was the end of the segment. I thought it was great. I was like, yeah, that's right, Charlotte. You don't want any part of this. You're above this. You're the queen. She just backed out. Interesting move.
Well, I like the fact that she acknowledges that there's history and there's bad blood with Rhea.
Yeah.
And for good cause, because that's 2 WrestleManias right there. That's a good chunk of their careers right there with those main events. So I can understand that. And like, there's a lot of rivalry. Like, when people look at the best in WWE in terms of the women's division, they think of Rhea, they think of Charlotte. And Charlotte always wants to be number one. Obviously, Rhea too. So, yeah, does Charlotte want to just be a part of that team? Doesn't make a lot of sense. So I get it. I think it's good. More people should do that, actually.
Yeah. I get it. I think it makes sense. It works. However, it's pretty much what Seth Rollins did last year.
And then he wasn't a part of it. I think Charlotte's going to be a part of it. They're going to make something where she's going to have to be a part of it because she's going to get attacked or something, or Alexa's getting beat down. She's going to have to be compelled to make the save. Like, that's the difference in this one, where Seth just like walked away and didn't do anything. Charlotte's actually going to do something, I think, and actually still going to be a part of this, because they said they still need 2 members.
Yeah.
So they'll find one, but the missing one, Charlotte's, I think, eventually going to step up.
Who will the other one be?
I mean, quite a few potential people. Like, apparently Bianca Belair. I don't know if you read about that. Like, I know she's had a tough injury recovery time right now, but apparently she said, her words, that she should be back sometime soon. So I wouldn't be surprised. That'd be huge, I think, if she came back for that.
What if Charlotte really isn't in it and Bianca isn't coming back, and the other two is just Bayley and Lyra Valkyria?
I mean, it's okay. It's something. It fills up the void that's there.
It could be that.
That's kind of disappointing, to be honest. I don't know about you. I would take Charlotte and Bianca over those two. No offense to those two, but you talking about all-star cast. I mean, that you need Charlotte and Bianca, I think. I mean, if you can get Bianca, right? Because like, that's rough. Broken finger, and like, you're out for almost like half a year or maybe more. That's a really bad injury then.
I'm not convinced Charlotte's coming back to the team. We saw Alexa Bliss and Io Sky and Rhea Ripley get beat up tonight backstage by Nia, Lash, and the Kabuki Warriors. I don't know. Charlotte wasn't there to help. I'm not sure that she does come back to the team. I think it could be 2 other people. I don't know. But, she might. Like, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not sure. But then I don't know who the 5th member is. Bianca coming back would be big. Who would be the 5th member on the heel team? They still need another person. Julia?
I'm surprised. Yeah, I don't really think so. After they kind of destroyed her last week, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm surprised Becky wasn't already put on the team. Like, I thought Becky for sure was going to be on the team.
She's got to deal with Maxine Dupree.
But I think that's happening on Monday, right? So that should be done.
You would hope. I mean, they're giving Maxine Dupree a lot of matches here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to give it to her, but they're kind of just making her into something. Like, this is her first big kind of feud, and this is Becky kind of putting her over in that sense. But I think this is as far as this goes. That it ends, I think, on Monday with them. Becky's going to win.
Well, Rhea, Io, Bliss, Charlotte, and Bianca would be a pretty great team against Nia, Lash Legend, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Becky Lynch. That'd be pretty great.
When you talk about best of the best, that's really the best you could pretty much get, I think, on both sides. Some would argue Tiffany Stratton, but I think this is still very, very good if you have the teams like that.
I think you could do, as the other 2 matches, John Cena versus, as much as I don't like it, probably Dominik Mysterio.
It's in San Diego. I mean.
Okay. So Ray could be involved in some way, too.
I expect it.
Yeah. And then also San Diego native Nikki Bella against Stephanie Vaquer for the women's title.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense after what happened with Nikki and all that. Yeah, I get it.
And Nikki turned heel. I saw it coming.
Well, I mean, you've kind of been seeing it for a while now. I mean, you said last week as well, and like, I mean, you could feel it. The crowd was always kind of against her no matter what, so it just made the most sense to do this. I just felt like the timing's kind of weird because, like, if she's going to get the title shot right away like that, you kind of should have built Nikki up a bit more. But this is where we're at. We're just going to go right to the title match, it looks like.
Yeah. But I think, you don't really have to build her up. It's just, a little heel run for Nikki, and she's not going to win. It's just somebody for Stephanie to beat. She needs an opponent.
She's not very credible considering, like, she's lost a bunch of matches. She did this whole, like, I doubt myself kind of thing, and now she's going to get a title shot. Hard to believe in that.
Yeah, but give her a couple wins where she's cheating to win. Maybe a tag team match where she pins Stephanie, leading into it. You could get her believable pretty quick. She's a Hall of Famer. She's in the Hall of Fame. Say that a few times. Stephanie's a newcomer. Nikki's literally in the Hall of Fame. I think you have a believable match.
Will it be a good match? That'll be a big question. We'll have to wait and see.
No, Nikki's struggling. She's having trouble. Right?
Well, I think her and Becky didn't really work out too well. And Roxanne, there was some hiccups. We'll see how good Stephanie can do it, though. Stephanie's a pretty good wrestler, so we'll see. I mean, I think Nikki can be carried to good matches, so we'll wait and see if Stephanie can do it.
Yeah, but I think Stephanie and Nikki probably get a spot at SummerSlam or Survivor Series. Trying to think who else might get a match, but
I mean, just a couple of those matches in that John Cena tournament. Just get through a couple of those.
I guess. But they need matches to eat up TV time, too.
Well, they still have more than enough. Like, we're only in the first round still?
Yeah, but I think the first round might end Monday or next week.
Yeah, Friday, I think.
Friday.
Next Friday, maybe?
So next week it'll end, and then we'll get into this. We could get through this thing pretty quick. I'll tell you who won't be on Survivor Series. Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Fenix, the Motor City Machine Guns, Solo Sikoa, and all his friends, the MFTs. Because Sami did a promo tonight on SmackDown, called out Solo, because he's mad at Solo for some reason.
Well, he was U.S. champion, and he had to beat him for the U.S. title, so that's what he did.
Yeah.
But he wasn't happy with the fact that Solo pretty much cost him the title for that distraction.
Oh, yeah.
He did. He came on to distract him, yeah.
But then, so Solo cost him the title, and he's mad that Solo cost him the title, but at the same time, the guy who's champion, Ilya Dragunov, Sami's like, you're the right man to be champion, and I believe in you, and congratulations.
See, it's okay to take advantage of the situation. That seems to be the thing, WWE. Cody does it, right? So
weird. Not great. So Sami's mad at Solo because of that. So he lost the U.S. title to another guy, but he's mad at Solo.
Right.
He doesn't seem hell-bent on winning the U.S. title back or even answering the open challenge of Ilya Dragunov. He just wants to fight Solo. He's not going to get to fight Solo directly, though, because Sami, when he calls out Solo, of course, comes out with his whole gang. And Sami says, well, I didn't come alone either. And Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Fenix, and the Motor City Machine Guns appear, and they save Sami from the beatdown. Rey Fenix dove on three guys outside the ring, like three of the MFTs,
mm-hmm.
and like spinning dive, and nobody caught him. He just landed with a thud. It was rough. He looked a little shaken up. So those guys all together, were told later on by Nick Aldis that they're going to have a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match against each other the night before Survivor Series on SmackDown.
SmackDown Survivor Series, yeah.
Cool. So, hey, guys, you're not on Survivor Series. You're going to wrestle a 10-man elimination tag that no one will care about the night before on SmackDown. Sami Zayn, Rey Fenix, Shinsuke Nakamura, and the Motor City Machine Guns against Solo Sikoa and the MFTs.
It's a good 40 minutes right there.
Yeah, they announced that on SmackDown tonight. And Jade Cargill squashed B-Fab. Just squashed her. Destruction.
B-Fab got a little bit of offense in there, though.
Not much.
I'm not too big on the power bombs, though. Jade's really got to work on her power bombs. They're kind of sloppy.
They seem so violent, though.
That last one felt like she lost her or something. I don't know, or she didn't know what she was doing. I don't know if you saw that last power bomb she did. Felt like she lost the handle or something, or she was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Lost her in the air or something. It was weird. Watch it over.
Too much baby oil.
Potentially.
You know?
She's got to watch Wardlow, how he did it, like how he did the roll-throughs and all that with the power bombs.
So that's what's going on in WWE world, right? That's what's happening there.
For the most part. There's more things happen on Raw, no? I feel like something else happened on Raw.
Cena won the Intercontinental title, which was a bit of a surprise. Well, once they announced the match, I was like, oh, he's winning here. That's crazy. I didn't think he'd wrestle. Why was Triple H there to introduce Cena? Did we need that?
I think he wanted to do it, so
yeah,
that's it. He got to be a part of the moment.
Right. He got to be part of the moment. He got to get the pop. What else happened? Rusev beat Damian Priest in the John Cena Time Is Now tournament. The Punk got involved with the War Games and everything. That started with the Vision and Logan Paul. Stephanie Vaquer wrestled Raquel Rodriguez, beat her. And then Nikki Bella attacked Stephanie. Sheamus beat Shinsuke Nakamura in the Time Is Now tournament. And Asuka and Kairi became the new women's tag team champions. And then there was Rhea Ripley returning and War Games and all that. Raw.
See, that was kind of weird, though, too, though. Like, they seemed all buddy-buddy, Charlotte and Rhea, on Raw.
That's
but
true.
by SmackDown, they were not buddy-buddy.
Right. Maybe Charlotte remembered. She's like, oh, wait a second. I hate Rhea Ripley. She forgot.
Well, it kind of pulled like her dad, you know, like, going to be on Dynamite? No, I'm not going to be on Dynamite.
Well, apparently he was in the building briefly, Flair. Ric Flair.
Apparently appeared the crowd.
Yeah, he appeared, but then his shoulder was hurting too much, so he had to leave. He was supposed to be involved in some sort of angle on TV. You saw Ricky Steamboat involved in something, and Flair was maybe supposed to be involved in that. It was in Greensboro, North Carolina, Flair country. They brought Flair to the show, but he couldn't do much.
Well, because Ricky kind of got physically involved, right? So I think they probably wanted Rick to get physically involved too. But yeah, if he's hurt and at his age, he definitely probably shouldn't be doing anything.
Yeah. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, brother. I want to talk about Blood and Guts. It was pretty crazy. But how about that West Side Gun story? So West Side Gun is a rapper. He talks about WWE in his songs. He names songs after wrestlers and wrestling moves, which I think creatively you should be able to do. But apparently he says he's received like cease and desist stuff from WWE, and they've made things difficult for him. And then recently he was at a show and they kicked him out. So he's like no longer going to be supporting the WWE, which is nuts because he's a big supporter of pro wrestling. I think he hosts like big pro wrestling concert type things. I don't know. I like his music. He's good. I don't know why WWE has to be like that. Like, I understand, like, apparently they got mad because he has a new album, and on the cover was Ted DiBiase, and there was a big picture of Ted DiBiase in Times Square, and had nothing to do with WWE. It was, like, for his album, and they, they're mad that they're using WWE images to promote this music, which I guess there's something there, but if they don't own the picture and it's somebody else's image of Ted DiBiase and he's paid the rights, like, they can't really say anything, even though he's portraying the $1 Million Man character in the picture. Like, it's kind of tough. It's tough. But I think WWE should be more welcoming of, big artists. Like, West Side Gun is not Drake. Like, he's not the biggest artist in the world, but he still has a pretty big following. I'm aware of him. I listen to him. A lot of people like West Side Gun. He's a famous rapper. He does the song for the Hurt Syndicate. We Heard People. That song, that's West Side Gun. It's a good song.
He's done a couple of different covers, though, hasn't he, for like different wrestlers, if I'm mistaken?
Yeah. Like, he's a big supporter of pro wrestling. He loves pro wrestling. He's a famous rapper. Why would they make life difficult for him?
Well, he's making money, and they're not. So that's a big thing. And, like you said, like, he's also working with the enemy.
They're making money.
Yeah, but they can make more money. They love more money.
Not off him.
Well, that's what they have a problem
changed the
with.
album cover. He's changed the album art.
Apparently, he changed like song titles too, and all that too, as well. Like some heels or something. I just feel it's WWE that are like, it's really bad when you have a decent level celebrity actually paid for their ticket.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars for their ticket, and you still kick them out. That's really bad. That's burning the bridge, and that's like scorched earth right there. Like, I don't know if you ever come back from that.
Yeah. And it just looks really bad from a lot of different angles. There's like a racial aspect of it too. Like, they don't, it looks very bad.
There was a complaint though. Apparently, it has happened at SummerSlam. That they were in the skybox or something, like West Side Gun's crew, and apparently they were sleeping or something, or it didn't seem like they were paying attention. I guess it rubbed people the wrong way.
Well, did they pay for the skybox? They probably paid for it.
Maybe, but again, I guess, like in wrestling, it's so easy to offend people or rub people the wrong way. Because wrestlers or people in wrestling, they're quite weird. And, if you don't follow in line with everything they do, you can easily, see yourself on the wrong side of things.
Are you talking about yourself?
No, I'm just talking about people that I know in wrestling. I'm like...
Oh, yeah. You don't carry grudges for years and years. You don't carry grudges for years and years over minor perceived disrespects. What are you talking about? You're talking about yourself. I know you, Johnny.
No, I don't.
I know your shoot name, John. Don't mess with me. I know you.
Well, I don't consider it minor, and I'm
I
sure
know North
WWE
isn't
doesn't.
your last name, okay? How about that? I know things about you.
Well, in the archives in the show, but like WWE doesn't consider it minor. I don't consider it minor too. So like that's it. When issues come up, they're gonna speak out, and that's what they've done. And it sucks for West Side Gun because, like you said, like I think he's actually helping WWE more than hurting it. But
Yeah. 100%. So stupid.
hey, if anything, like
It makes
Tony
wrestling
Khan
seem cool when like cool rappers are rapping about wrestling.
like Tony Khan should take advantage of this and like have West Side Gun like make more appearances and do more songs for them because like if the WWE wants West Side Gun to be the enemy, embrace them. Take advantage of that.
I really hope WWE never hears Action Bronson because he drops a lot of wrestling references. So many.
Well, it's funny. He had a falling out with AEW too, right? So it'd be funny if he actually, yeah, because like there was an issue about the tag match that he wasn't happy with that tag match. Remember he wrestled with Hook? He wasn't happy with that match and how everything went down. So, and that I don't know if you noticed too. Hook has a new song.
Yeah, it's not Action Bronson anymore.
Yeah, so there was a falling out there.
Mm.
And going back to last week, you wondered about Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura's been released by WWE.
What?
Yeah. Like that's why you're not going to see him ever again. Like he's gone. Like
why?
Well, do you remember the cage match? Like what happened?
Yeah, he was mad.
So, well, yeah,
so
but
that's it.
I think that was a big part. Well, also I think they're not on NBC anymore, so I think they've probably just told him like, "Oh, we don't need you anymore. It's not the same anymore."
Just the possibility of seeing the body was like half the reason I bought a ticket for Saturday night's main event. Come on, brother.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't have been able to hear him though. You wouldn't have been able to see him.
Still seeing him.
That's about it.
Seeing him.
I don't know if he'd come to Canada though. I don't know.
Well, he's not coming because he doesn't work there anymore, which sucks. I hope that Saturday night's main event show is going to be good. I think it's cool that it's Saturday night's main event. Like, it's a unique show. I've never attended one of them live. I think that's fun. I'm excited. I hope it has like a nice old school look and feel. I like that.
I imagine it will, and I think it should be a pretty good show because when you think about it, it's the last big show before the Rumble.
Yeah.
So, and the Rumble will be in Saudi Arabia, right? So it's the last big show in North America that they have. So I expect that it should be pretty decent. The only thing I worry about is you're probably not going to get the big title matches. They're going to save that for the Rumble. Like the Rumble's going to have 4 matches, but it's probably going to have both like big title matches. So you'll probably get the mid-card title matches, I think, on Saturday night's main event.
Something. Looks like Jericho's for sure going back to WWE. Do you think there's any chance he returns in Canada or it'll be at the Rumble?
I mean, the Rumble, I think, would be a bigger payday. So I'm sure he's hoping it's the Rumble because that would be fantastic for him in terms of money. I mean, it'd be great for you if you get to see him, but I would think the Rumble, just for the more, who's going to be next coming out, and then he comes out, like, this makes sense. That's where a lot of people make the big comebacks at the Rumble. Edge did it. Christian did it.
I think bigger question is, does he come back with Judas or break the walls down?
It's going to be break the walls down.
I agree.
What did Zack Ryder come out to, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he was Zack Ryder. He wasn't even Matt Cardona.
Exactly.
And he was Matt Cardona in NXT like a few weeks ago.
They mentioned that too. It was some other name or whatever. Like,
yeah. So weird. That's weird. That's a weird one. Like NXT and SmackDown are 2 different places. It's not the same
Yes.
company, and when you appear for one, you have one name. You appear for another, you have a different name. You're not the same person. What a weird world is wrestling.
It makes me think that maybe they weren't 100% sure of who they were going to have, actually. That they had the mystery and like, well, we'll find out when we get there kind of thing. And then when they got there, like, well, we don't really have maybe who we wanted, so we'll just go with this because, oh, he's around. We can get him.
He's available.
He wants to do it. Do it.
Yes. He is willing to do the job for LA Knight on a Friday night in Albany. Who can we get Friday night in Albany to lose to LA Knight? How about Zack Ryder? Okay. Sure.
See, that was big by WWE, though. They don't usually do that where they just bring in a random indie guy. So, I mean, he's a bit more than that, but still, like, WWE rarely does something like that. So that's actually a bit of a step forward for them to actually do that.
Was it a one-time thing?
We'll wait and see. I mean, he did the NXT thing not too long ago, but still, there was no follow-up to that. So,
yeah. Is it like an AJ Lee situation where you think maybe there's more and then there never is? What happened there?
Yeah, I thought AJ Lee was supposed to be part of the War Games. Hopefully he still is, but wait and see.
Oh, maybe. Like, maybe she'll be... Like, maybe Charlotte isn't going to be there because they needed a spot for AJ.
I wouldn't mind that. Just the fact that we get to see her more because we saw her once, really. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
weird.
That kind of match...
I expected to see her again, and then she had that one tag match with Punk against Seth and Becky, and that was it. It was months ago.
Well, I think to be fair, though, that I think the Seth injury may have changed a lot of things, so...
Yeah, that makes sense. But maybe AJ's going to be on this War Games.
She should.
So we'll see. Brock Lesnar on the men's team? I mean, that makes sense, right?
I think it's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be him.
That's cool. That means Brock, I mean, he'll probably be the last guy to enter in the match.
Probably, yeah.
He'll still have to wrestle longer than usual.
I mean, it's War Games. It's just brawling, really. It's not really
still,
wrestling.
He'll still have to be involved in a wrestling match for longer than he normally is.
He'll survive. Like, there's so much going on that he doesn't have to do too much.
Mm-hmm. Well, he won't be lighting anybody on fire, that's for sure. WWE doesn't do that. You gotta leave that to
It won't be Blood and Guts. Yeah, it won't be anything like Blood and Guts that we saw. Men or women. It won't be anything like that.
No. AEW did their version of War Games this week on Dynamite, and it was Blood and Guts, and it was bloody. I didn't see any guts. I saw some butts. Blood and butts. I mean, the women's match was blood and butts.
I think some broken faces, too, if I'm not mistaken. Quite a bit of blood.
Yeah, a lot of blood. Yeah, a lot of blading.
Well, there's also, like, when I think it was Megan Bain, like, threw the chair at Jamie Hayter, who had, like, the trash kettle in over her face. Like, from what I read, that apparently that busted her face open. And you could tell the referee afterwards was checking on her. Like, that was very unsafe, by the way, to do that. That was super unsafe. The way she threw that chair, and she can't really see it coming, that looked very unsafe and dangerous.
There was a lot of dangerous stuff, a lot of sloppy stuff. It was a mixed bag. It was a very long match. The women's Blood and Guts started off with Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale. Pretty embarrassing strikes on both sides. Like the shots with the Willow had a trash can lid, and Sky had a kendo stick, and Willow. I mean, just then they started punching each other, and just the weakest looking punches you'll ever see.
Well, I saw Logan Paul with some bad punches tonight.
Yeah, he's not great either. Willow kind of tossed Sky into the cage and then gave her a pounce. And then Sky went down for a while, and you're like, why is she down for so long while Willow is posing? And you're like, oh, is Sky cutting her forehead right now? And then, of course, when you see Sky again, she's a bloody mess. So, yes, it was just an obvious blade job there from Sky Blue. They just didn't do a good job of hiding it.
She bled a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like she had a crimson mask like the whole match, which is very impressive because that match is close to an hour long.
It was too early in the match to be that bloody. Like, save it for later when, you know, things have happened, when you want to build more drama. If you bleed early, you're like, okay, guess there's going to be a lot of blood in this match because she's bleeding already. It wasn't like, oh my God, Sky Blue. It was like, oh, she's bleeding already. Okay.
It was more, oh my God, when it got to like, okay, everyone's in. It took like almost half an hour, and she's still crimson mask. Then it's like, wow, she's lost a lot of blood.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary, actually. But I really think the problem with the women's one was pacing. I really feel like they were just trying to do too much. I get it. You're trying to impress. But then there was just a lot of like dead points. Like once the match started, I actually felt like it kind of died a little bit.
Yes.
Because like they did too much to get to that point.
Well, every woman had like a fancy entrance with a weapon. Everybody who came out with a weapon. Like Sky Blue had the kendo stick. Willow Nightingale had the trash can. Then Harley Cameron came out. Julia Hart came out, and she had some kind of weapon. Harley Cameron came out, and she had a chair. Tekla was next. She had a belt, started whipping everybody with the belt. Jamie Hayter was next. She had a bag of thumbtacks that she just smacked somebody with, and the tacks went flying everywhere, probably some in the first row. Megan Bayne came out with Penelope Ford, and Penelope Ford had a chair, but Megan Bayne didn't use that chair. She just used her muscles and kind of tossed everybody around because her weapon is her muscular frame. Chris Statlander came out wearing a belt and had a pool cue, and she broke it over Megan Bayne right away. Mercedes Moné came out, and she danced for a while, and then she had one of her belts, and then she had a sip of champagne before going into the ring, which I thought was funny. And then she used one of her belts, and then she brought more belts in the ring and was using belts as weapons. And then Mina Shirakawa came out, and she was dancing too. She had a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. And then Marina Shafir came out, and I don't think she came out with a weapon. Maybe she would. No, she came out and immediately pulled out a bed of nails that she threw Chris Statlander on. Sorry. She had a hidden weapon. She didn't walk out with it. It was hidden. But she also had a signature weapon, the bed of nails. And then Toni Storm came out with pearls that she punched people with. And that was all the participants. So you see, they all had a signature weapon to use. And that's how the match just kind of progressed. And they all were bleeding. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them were bleeding. Statlander was bleeding. Hayter was bleeding. Marina was bleeding. Sky Blue, like a lot of, I think Megan Bayne was possibly bleeding. It was a lot of blood. They were all, basically all of them were bleeding. I don't think Mercedes was Mercedes bleeding? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think Tony was.
Tony was, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were hitting Mina Shirakawa with the title belt and making Tony watch, and everybody else was down, and Tony quit for the team because she couldn't bear watching Mina get tortured like that, and that's how the match ended. Tony had used broken glass. She taped her fists up with broken glass and all sorts of nonsense, but eventually the heels won. Sky Blue, Julia Hart, Megan Bayne, Tekla, Mercedes Moné, and Marina Shafir getting the win over Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Jamie Hayter in the women's Blood and Guts match. You know, it had its moments. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. You know, it was all right.
I felt like they had some good spots, like Tony with the portrait and then getting hit with the glass. I thought that looked like fantastic.
Getting hit with the mirror was pretty impressive when she got, yeah.
There were some good, and that's it. I think they had good ideas. Again, pacing was the problem. It's like you have these good ideas, nothing happens, a lot of brawling, and then it looks like a lot of hitting where it's like, man, that looked kind of rough, but you barely even saw it. Marina looked pretty good too, by the way, in this too. Like she looked like she was very rough in this, and like she got busted open too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But like she came off as like, wow, I don't want to mess with her. Like she had that legit kind of feel to her in that kind of match. So I thought she came off very well. Again, some good moments. You could tell though, like when they went up top of the cage, like they weren't going to actually do anything too crazy, and it's best they didn't do anything too crazy because like. That was for later.
Yeah. Top of the cage crazy, though. What really happened?
Nothing really happened because they said that for later, I think, you know? Like.
But what did the men do top of the cage crazy?
Mark Briscoe and
Wheeler?
Wheeler, yeah. They did a bunch of stuff up top.
Well, they fought on top of the cage, but nobody got tossed off the cage or anything.
Then the whole Darby thing, like, that wasn't really on the cage.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. That was really the big difference, I think, between the men's and the women's, that the men's had Darby in it. So that was a huge difference.
Yeah, well, Darby is the MVP. He's the man. He's the Aaron Judge of AEW. MVP, baby. Darby Allin came into Blood and Guts with a skateboard with thumbtacks. He was the first guy for his team. They were up against Wheeler Yuta. And then Daniel Garcia was out next. And Mark Briscoe. No, Orange Cassidy was out next. And then, so the babyfaces had the advantage in this one. And then it was Daniel Garcia. And then Mark Briscoe was supposed to come out, but he was like attacked by the Death Riders backstage. So there was like, maybe he wasn't going to be in the match. Roderick Strong takes his spot. He enters the match. Claudio Castagnoli was next, then Kyle O'Reilly, then Jon Moxley. Moxley came out with a fork and just started stabbing people in the head with the fork. And then Mark Briscoe eventually did show up when the match started officially, right? Pac was in there. Was Pac in there?
You got the bolt cutters, I think. Yep, Pac was in there, yeah.
Yeah, Pac was in there. And then Mark Briscoe, he shows up. And then he starts fighting on the top of the cage with Wheeler at one point. I like how they had a pulley system to bring up all those chairs for Briscoe to use. That was fun.
At first it wasn't going to work, though.
Yeah, he managed to make it, though. I'm glad he figured it out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, really the spot of the match was... who's that evil gentleman who's friends with the Death Riders that was helping Pac?
Oh, Gabe Kidd.
Gabe Kidd, yes, the evil guy. He just looks so evil. Especially his facial expressions really make him look just evil. He's like an evil friend of Jon Moxley. So Gabe Kidd was there helping Pac, and they set up on top of the entrance tunnel, and Pac is there with Darby. And then there's two tables below, and the evil Gabe Kidd, lights the tables on fire, and then Pac tosses Darby off the top of the tunnel thing, and he goes through two tables on fire, and then he's like on fire for a bit, and then they put him out, but good God almighty. I mean, that was the most shocking moment, craziest thing that we saw on AEW. Darby and fire, man. He really got into fire over the past, year or two, right? There's been a lot of fire stuff with Darby Allin. He had a flamethrower at one point. He was lit on fire. Didn't he try to light Moxley on fire? Or he did? Didn't he light Moxley on fire in a body bag at one point?
In Toronto, if not mistaken.
Yeah, like there's so much stuff with fire now at this, like with Darby, that you kind of lose track of all the things he's done, lighting people on fire or being lit on fire himself. He's really into fire. Anyways, he was on fire briefly on Dynamite. That was cool. So, thumbtacks, glass, big stunts, big bumps, tables, chairs, kendo sticks, barbed wire, lots of blood, fire. I mean, there were no light tubes, no pizza cutters. So they didn't hit all the, I mean, there was a bed of nails, you know? This show had a lot of the hardcore wrestling staples that you might expect from a show called Blood and Guts. I'm surprised they're allowed to show this on TV.
Again, the blood. Like, Kyle O'Reilly.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness.
Yeah.
It just seemed like his whole head was covered in blood. Like, it wasn't, but it felt like at some point.
Yeah. It looked like he was bleeding from like 10 parts of his head.
And there's another thing too. It's very dangerous. There's just so much weapons, so much blood. The ropes are just completely almost stained, all red. They're white originally, the ropes, but they're not anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolute insanity. I'm sorry. It's a true amazement that apparently there's not so many injuries off this, because it feels like you just have a bunch of injuries. And I question the fact that you do something like this, like the week prior to a pay-per-view. Like, it is very gutsy to do that, because you can't guarantee a lot of people will be available now for the pay-per-view. But I think they're kind of lucky. Maybe more sort towards the women, that they're a little unfortunate, especially going in. Apparently, like, a bunch were injured going into that.
Yeah.
But then for the men to survive that, or for what we could tell, they survived. Like, they're okay with whatever that is, right? Like, we'll see. But it's amazing. I have to say though, like, that finish, the way that all went down with Moxley and O'Reilly.
Yeah.
I was very impressed by that. I'm like, wow, I did not see that coming. The way they did the counters back and forth like that, and how O'Reilly got the win. I'm like, that was good, because I didn't see it coming.
I liked it too. They had O'Reilly, kind of managed to get the ankle lock submission there on Moxley. He rolled through a couple times. Nice counters, nice mat wrestling there from O'Reilly. And we saw the match a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite where Moxley got himself disqualified instead of losing to O'Reilly when he was about to tap. And now here in the Blood and Guts, where it's either submission or, you say a verbal submission, it's the only way to lose. Moxley gives up here finally when he had nowhere else to go, loses to Kyle O'Reilly. So I thought it was a really good story told for the finish. Really good. I thought the men's match was pretty damn good. A little crazy, but yeah, why not? Go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if personally I'd ever want to do a match like that. Like, that to me, it just seems that it takes years off your life, not just your career.
Yeah.
In a match like that. But again, kudos to them. It's amazing what they pulled off in that match, and just to me, it just shows you, like, they really love this, because, like, wow, they put their bodies on the line in that match. Like, every single one of the men and women, like, that's incredible to do something like that, because that's rough. That is a rough, just on Wednesday to do that.
Yeah, just a random Wednesday night TV. Well, you mentioned AEW Full Gear, and we're going to do a deep dive preview on that one next week, Johnny. But, not many people that were in the Blood and Guts matches are actually currently booked for Full Gear. Most of the people that were in that match do not have anything scheduled for Full Gear, so maybe, they won't have to wrestle next week on the pay-per-view and deliver like a pay-per-view quality match. Mark Briscoe will. He wrestles Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title in a no DQ match, which is bound to be nuts. So Mark Briscoe is going to be banged up because he did some stuff in Blood and Guts. Came out
maybe
last,
that's why.
but still.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they gave him a bit of a break. But still.
I think as long as they can do it, they're probably going to do Moxley and O'Reilly again at the pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, but they could, just wrestle.
Right, which is weird. They do all these crazy things and just wrestle, but I expect that probably will be a match. And they probably didn't announce a lot of the matches they had ideas for. They didn't know who was going to survive Blood and Guts, probably.
Chris Statlander versus Mercedes Moné. They were both in Blood and Guts. They're wrestling each other for the AEW Women's World Title.
And Statlander took a bit of a beating on the nails, too, so...
Yeah. But they're the only other two that were in Blood and Guts that are currently booked. Everybody else, it's Hangman Page versus Samoa Joe for the world title in a steel cage match, which we found out about this week. Brodito and Brody King defending the tag titles against FTR. Kenny Omega, Jack Perry, and Luchasaurus against the Young Bucks and Josh Alexander. And a Casino Gauntlet match for the AEW, first ever AEW National Championship, because a new belt is definitely what AEW needed. What?
Well, I think they got heat with NWA because they're clearly just copying NWA by making their own title. That's pretty much exactly how it looks like in the NWA. So I'm not sure why there's some sort of rivalry now with NWA out of nowhere, but I guess they felt they had to do this.
You think that's what that is? I didn't even...
I mean, have you seen the title?
No.
What it looks like? Like it's pretty much exactly the national title in NWA. So something's going on with that. I'm not sure all the details, like where this rivalry has started, or maybe it's always been there, we just didn't know about it, but I'm guessing you're looking up the images right now. See what it looks like?
I don't know. I can't tell which one it is. It's like red?
Yeah.
Oh, it does look like... And what does that look like? The NWA national title?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like identical.
Exactly.
Why is that?
Because there's some sort of beef for whatever reason. I don't know what, but...
Okay.
They got beef.
That's weird. Okay. I don't know what to think about that.
I don't think you need a new title just because you have beef, but... And, okay, like, the international title has been unified, but, like, that unified title could still represent what the international title was. You don't need to make another title to fill the void of the international title. But
I agree.
They want to do it.
Yeah.
That's...
Hangman Page wrestled Powerhouse Hobbs this week on Dynamite and beat him after Hobbs fell off part of the bleachers into an exploding table. And Hangman pinned him. The table exploded, John.
Yeah, honestly, like, they really should have just had a wrestling match. Like, I think we needed a bit of a, like,
yeah.
This is how I watched Blood and Guts. Like, I had to, like, watch one match a day pretty much because I was like, it's a lot to take in. And, like, I can only imagine people watching that live. And it's overkill. But that match also, it's like, okay, like, it's falls kind of anywhere. They're just going to brawl everywhere. Like, I need a bit of a breather here. Like, this should have just been a wrestling match just to let you breathe through all the chaos.
Yeah, I don't know why they had to make it also a hardcore match.
I guess this was like an ECW special or something, but yeah, I guess. And like Hobbs took a horrible bump on the, like, when he got backdropped. Like, that was rough right on his butt. Like, I don't envy him on that one.
Mm-hmm. And then Shibata and Joe attacked Hangman after the match, and then they went to lower the Blood and Guts cage to trap them inside, but Hook and Eddie Kingston came to save Hangman. And Hangman then announced, told Joe, hey, if you wanted to get me in a cage, all you had to do was ask. Steel cage match at Full Gear. So I'm happy about that because at least it's not Hangman, Joe, one-on-one, just like it was at the last pay-per-view. They're adding a stipulation. We needed something.
Yeah, I expected, like, the Falls Count Anywhere. I thought that's what they were going to do for Joe and Hangman, but thankfully it's actually something different. So, but yeah, I expected something. And thankfully we're getting it too.
And Tony Schiavone in the ring in the Greensboro Coliseum says it's the greatest venue in professional wrestling.
It's his opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all right. And then he announces a guy who made a lot of history in that building, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And the legendary Dragon comes out, and he starts talking about the good old days and Ric Flair in 1977. And then here come FTR with Stokely Hathaway. And Stokely gets a lot of boos. And he starts talking about FTR's title shot at Full Gear. And he tells Steamboat, I would be honored if my favorite wrestler was there live to see the match. So, Ricky, do you have Macho Man's phone number? Because I haven't seen him on TikTok in a minute, which I find hilarious that Stokely Hathaway is pretending to be so out of touch with wrestling that he thinks Macho Man's alive and is posting TikTok videos. So I thought that was a funny line, saying Macho Man's his favorite wrestler, not Ricky Steamboat, and asking him if he has Macho Man's phone number, who's been dead for years. Steamboat didn't like that. This made Steamboat mad. And then Dax tried to calm things down. He says, no, Ricky, we've known each other for a long time. You used to train me, and I learned nothing from you, actually. And then he's like, no, wait, that's not true. I did learn one thing. You told me it's not how much you make, but how much you save. And unfortunately, you and Ric Flair didn't listen to that, and that's why you have to be here tonight. And I was like, oof, ouch, damn. And then Dax then tells Ricky Steamboat, leave my ring, get out. Get out of the ring, Ricky Steamboat. And Steamboat says, look, if I was a little younger, maybe something else would happen, but I'm 73 years old, and I'm just going to be smart here, and I'm going to leave. Tucked his tail, decided, what's he going to do against the FTR? He's going to leave. So he goes to leave, but before he can, Cash grabs the legendary Steamboat, and Dax starts laying into him with punches, and then they go to do a spiked pile driver on Ricky Steamboat. But Brody King and Bandito come out and run them off and make the save. Because they are the tag team champions, and they will be FTR's opponents at Full Gear. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I liked it. I liked seeing Steamboat. I liked FTR. I thought their promo was good. I thought that was a good segment. I thought Steamboat was very good. He sold it all very well. His facial expressions, he's still a great pro wrestling performer. He was very good in that moment. Loved it.
What I find the most impressive, I don't know how you felt, I never thought Ricky Steamboat was that great of a promo. And I actually thought he was very good here.
Mm-hmm.
And believable in what he was saying, where I felt he was very dry a lot of the times when you used to hear him talk. This was just that's the way he's just talking normally. This is the way it should have been more with Ricky. Instead of trying to be, I think he was trying to be more of a character. Now he's just being more himself. This is better. This is the way it should have been with Steamboat.
It was really good, and it just shows you that there are still really good ways to use the legends of the business while maintaining their legacy and integrity, all the while enhancing your current talent by using them on your weekly TV. There are ways to use legends properly, and I think AEW did a very good job in this segment of using a legend. I don't think Ricky Steamboat looked bad. I don't think Ricky Steamboat was embarrassed. I don't think Ricky Steamboat lost face. I think Ricky Steamboat played a great role. Maybe some new fans were turned on to Ricky Steamboat because they'd never seen him before, and they did a good job of talking about the history and why he was important and why he was legendary, and they did that in, very few words and very few minutes. And I thought FTR got a lot of good heat out of attacking Ricky Steamboat in Greensboro, made them look real mean. And Brodito gets a real good babyface pop, saving Ricky Steamboat. So I thought Brodito got a lot out of it. I thought FTR got a lot out of it. And I thought Ricky Steamboat, looked good in this segment. I thought it was a perfect execution of how to use a legend of the business in a modern-day wrestling context. They can't be too physical, but they can take a couple work punches to the gut. You can almost pile drive them where you go, oh my God, if they pile drive this 73-year-old man, they might kill him. Brody King and Bandito have to come out here or FTR is going to kill him. And I really liked, the little things that FTR does sometimes. They're just such pros where Cash sees that they're coming out and he tells Dax, no, let's just do it quickly. Let's just pile drive them now before they get here. They were still trying to do it, but they just ran out of time. Because a lot of times in wrestling, you're about to pile drive a guy that you're not supposed to pile drive, and the baby faces are coming, and instead of just pile driving him before they get to the ring, they just freeze and wait for the baby faces to come and beat them up. But Cash was like, no, Dax, let's just get him. But they just ran out of time. Really good. Little moments that made it feel extra real and extra mean, Cash is well, I don't care about these guys. I just want to hurt Ricky Steamboat. Let's get him. We have an opportunity to break this guy's neck. Let's kill this guy. It makes them seem extra mean when they don't freeze for the baby faces and they're just hell-bent on destruction. Very well done. And I give AEW a hard time a lot of times, but hey man, when they hit home runs, you got to give them props. Just like the Toronto Blue Jays, when they hit home runs, you got to give them props. What are you going to do? You got to tip your hat.
I think one day they'll like you. You got to keep putting them over more, but
FTR?
One day. No, I'm in the Blue Jays, but
I don't want them to like me. I don't need them to like me. The Blue Jays as an organization?
That and their fan base, pretty much. As an organization, I don't know.
Yeah, well, wait till next season, all right? Wait till next season.
See, there you go.
Yeah, things will get ugly again. Things will get real ugly. I think the Yankees are going to suck next season, but that's another story. I'm not optimistic. Anyways, good segment, though, with Ricky the Dragon. Who doesn't love? And I love Ricky the Dragon, too. I'm a big fan. Who isn't? He's great.
It kind of makes you wonder what would it have been like if Ric Flair was in that segment. That was good with Steamboat. Ooh. Imagine you had Flair, too.
Woo! You think Steamboat was a good promo?
I think it would have been a lot more crazier with Flair. It would have been more off the wall kind of stuff. This was a bit more sensible with how things went down. Flair just kind of would have been a bit nuts, I think.
Ric Flair was such a good promo. Mean.
Still is.
By God, Gene. I mean, no wrestler in the history of the business could go on a microphone in the middle of the ring, go completely nuts, tear his suit off, get into his underwear, start dropping elbows on his pants, and have the crowd go nuts, and he's cutting a promo while he's like stomping around the ring, dropping elbows on his clothes that he's ripped off for some reason, punching himself in the head until he bleeds. Just a complete maniac, but also like classy and poised at the same time somehow. Like there's just the Nature Boy Ric Flair will never be duplicated. He was so good. So good. Can you imagine a guy taking his clothes off and like elbow dropping them today? People would be like, what the hell is this? Flair did it, and you're like, yeah, what the? Like, you didn't even question it. You're like, this makes sense. This is logical. For this character, for this man, this seems like a perfectly reasonable day at the office. You know?
Wrestling characters were larger than life back then, so they could do things like that because you expect erratic, insane behavior because that's what wrestlers would do, right?
Fire me! I'm already fired.
Yeah, that shaking the ropes, running like a maniac all the time. Yeah, stuff like that.
Mean by God, Gene.
I know Andy in the UK. He's not too happy about this. He's not big on Flair, but yeah, you give Flair his due. Like
the promos, though. I understand not liking Ric Flair for a variety of reasons, but to watch some of these promos and not be able to go, yeah, that's pretty good, I don't understand. With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment of my life. Like the Rumble promo, after he wins the Rumble, legendary.
I don't think you could deny the career that he had. It was one of the greatest careers I think ever in wrestling. There's no doubt. I think probably Andy's problem, Andy Burroughs, by the way. I think his issue is just like when you get into the whole like greatest of all time thing. I'll get the same thing about when people call Cena the greatest of all time. Like I disagree with that. I think Andy's the same way. Just that's not my greatest of all time. I think that's what he looks
not
like.
my greatest of all time either. I don't think Cena or Flair would be in my top 5.
I'm surprised Flair's not top 5. Okay.
All-time greatest wrestlers?
I would think 5. I'm surprised. I would think he'd be number 5 for you, Flair.
No. I mean, you got to put Hogan up there.
I'm very surprised you put Hogan over.
What?
Like in terms of fine,
Hogan
but in
was
terms
much
of
bigger.
wrestling, not in terms
I'm
of
talking
like
about total package professional wrestler.
Okay, this is a different
Superstar.
top 5 then.
Yeah,
Fine.
well, I don't know. Wrestler? Like, why would you? I mean, if we're going to talk about pure wrestlers, then I don't think Flair would be in it either. He's not Brett. He's not Bryan. He's not Eddie Guerrero. He's not Rey Mysterio. He's not Chris Jericho. I mean, those guys, he's not Kurt Angle. That's just to name a few. He's not AJ Styles. Those guys are all better wrestlers than Ric Flair in the ring. Match quality, Shawn Michaels, far superior. I think if you're going to put Ric Flair in like a all-time great category, you're kind of looking at like the promo, the character, the pageantry, and everything. Yeah, he had some good matches, but I don't know, man. Brett was way better. Kurt Hennig was way better.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I got to give Flair a lot of credit for longevity because, like, he wrestled a long time and he
Okay.
wrestled a lot of different guys, a lot of different styles too,
Yeah.
and he kept up too. Like,
Sure.
granted, the TNA stuff, just forget about that kind of stuff. But like,
Well,
pretty much like
you
that.
gotta give Hogan credit for longevity too.
Of course, there's not the wrestling skills, but in everything else, Hogan gets a lot of credit.
Yeah, but he could sell his ass off, and he could get the crowd behind you, and behind him, and he could, get people invested in a match. I mean, you talk about wrestling skills. What are wrestling skills? What is pro wrestling? I think it's getting reactions. It's making memorable moments. It's being a larger-than-life character. Like, was The Rock a great in-ring technician? No, but is he a great pro wrestler? Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be kind of nuts to say he's not.
I think The Rock was never really that bad. I just think
no, but he's
Rock...
not Brett. He's not Bryan Danielson.
No, but he never really needed to be too, though. So.
Right, but neither did Hogan.
Well, I felt Hogan showed it at times that he could.
Yeah, he could, but he didn't need to.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Hogan was great. Hogan is for sure in my top 5. Brett, Hogan, Bryan Danielson, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I would probably say Kurt Angle would be my top 5.
That's pretty good. It's very good, actually.
Brett, Hogan, Austin, Bryan, Angle. I think those guys are my favorite wrestlers ever. You talk about in-ring, I don't think there was ever anybody better than Kurt Angle. I don't think there ever will be. I think Kurt Angle was the best in-ring performer that ever existed. Peak Kurt Angle was unparalleled.
I mean, again, that match with Brett that never happened. I mean, you wonder what that would have been like, because I feel like if you had peak Brett against peak Angle, I mean, that's probably the greatest wrestling match ever, I think.
Yeah, but Angle Shawn Michaels, Angle Rey Mysterio, Angle Chris Benoit, Angle Eddie Guerrero, Angle Brock Lesnar, Angle John Cena. I mean, there's just so many unbelievable Kurt Angle matches. Kurt Angle in his prime was the greatest athlete I've ever seen in pro wrestling. The greatest wrestler I've ever seen. The greatest. Like Brett had the best matches, but Kurt Angle was the best wrestler, if that makes any sense. Like, he did more impressive things in the ring, but Brett was more cerebral. Like, Brett was kind of a wrestling genius. Like, as an artist, I think Brett is better, but as an athlete, Angle is better. So, like, who was the better wrestler? It's kind of hard because Brett, I think, kind of made you go, ooh, that was cool. That was interesting. And Kurt Angle made you go, oh, my God, how did he do that? Different levels.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Angle was more flashy.
Yeah. But I've always said, like, Brett and Kurt Angle, probably the two greatest ever, in my opinion. And then Bryan Danielson, I would put right up there with them because he had a hell of a career. Those guys. And then Hogan and Austin because of impact on the business and how awesome they were. And living through their prime, living through their peak years was, for me, my favorite times in wrestling. And they were the main characters. They were the best. They're the reason why we are where we are in pro wrestling today. Those two guys. Without those two guys, business is nowhere near as big as it is right now.
Sadly, it's been a while since they were at the top. Because the guys that replaced them afterwards, I mean, they were just placeholders, really.
Yeah, We're still looking for that guy.
We're still looking, yeah. We'll still be looking for a while,
Sure.
I think.
I mean, no matter how great Cena or Roman or Cody are, they're not Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're not Hulk Hogan. They're just not. They're not as over. They're not as popular. They're not as famous. I mean, maybe they're as Cena is pretty damn famous, but it's like different. You know, it's a different era. But the impact on the wrestling business and the level of, fervor. Hulkamania, the Austin era, crazy times. Boom periods.
And you could say, like, Cena may have been one of the down periods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was there. He carried the torch for the company. Good employee.
It'll be interesting to see what they're going to give us on Monday. Because like you said, like, there's not too many matches you're looking forward to. But by the way he was talking on Monday, it sounds like it's just going to be like NXT people he wants to wrestle or put over.
So what? Does he wrestle Obafemi at Survivor Series?
I really think he's going to get that Joe Hendry match. I think it's a strong possibility. That's not the last opponent, by the way, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets that match because they're pushing for that.
But then Joe Hendry can't be in the tournament and lose and then still wrestle Cena. That seems weird. Like, you can't be in this tournament and lose a match and then get a match with John Cena because the tournament's about getting a match with John Cena.
No, you could actually, because like how many of them have wrestled John Cena before? You know, it's all about getting that last match. Like that's their big thing. It's retiring Cena, right?
But are you retiring Cena if you lose to him in his last match?
Apparently you are. Like the way they were saying it, the way they're hyping it, like
so stupid. You didn't retire him. He decided he was retiring. You happened to be his final opponent. He beat you, a man who was 1 foot out the door, basically told you his body was broken and is in retirement. An old retired wrestler beat you after you won a tournament, and you are supposed to claim victory? I don't think so.
Well, this is why Gunther needs to win that last match. Like, he shouldn't lose.
He won't.
Like, if it was in Boston, I would have agreed with you, but it's in Washington. Like, Cena doesn't need to win in Washington.
For America, he does.
For America. Wait and see. There's no Trump, by the way, so we'll see if there's any Trump for Cena's match.
Trump won't be there?
He won't be at the UFC, I think, tomorrow.
He won't be at the UFC, but he may be at Cena's last match. Still rumors. In D.C. Doesn't have to travel as much. It's right there. He will not be at the UFC. We will be watching the UFC tomorrow night here. They're at Madison Square Garden. Islam Makhachev moving up from 155 to 170 to take on Jack Della Maddalena for the UFC Welterweight Championship. It's the main event. We're doing a watch-along here, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday night. When the pay-per-view starts, our show will start. We'll tell you what's going on, and we will have a good time. We're partying tomorrow night on the Ringside Report Network. It's a UFC 322 watch along. Freddie and AJ will be live with me. We're going to have a good time.
Yes, boy!
Oh, yeah. Yes, boy. Johnny North, can you tell everybody when your next match will be? When can we see you?
As of right now, it's going to be February 7th. I'll be back in Sudbury again. So, 2026 as of right now.
I'm sure there'll be other stuff coming up. You know, somebody's going to show up and say,
Hold on a minute, player.
and they're going to book you in something. A tag team match, playa.
Oh, we'll see. The price is right. Maybe.
Maybe. You got to meet his money. Angelo Contagones, big shout out to you, member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. What up, Ryan, Angelo, Lauren, everybody checking in live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, Rumble. We're on all the things. Join.ringsidereport.net or membership.ringsidereport.net is how you support. And go to our website, ringsidereport.net. A lot of great stuff, great information, articles, news, stuff about the shows themselves, clips, all sorts of great stuff over on our website, ringsidereport.net. I'll be back tomorrow night for the UFC 322 watch-along right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net.